nothing above Guru Nanak. Take a whoop with Guru Nanak. Never felt love like Guru Nanak. Never felt judged with Guru Nanak. Everything is one, nothing above Guru Nanak.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। Look like we're having some technical difficulties here, and we'll be on in just a minute. Okay. Vaiguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome back to Sikh Cast. Today we're going to have a Sikh family from California, and they're talking to us about their journey into Sikhi and what it means to them in their daily lives, and just have a nice chat, a nice vichar about Sikhi. And then, as always, please forgive us for any mistakes that we make during the podcast. So, Kamalvir, Gurveer, and Agamjokveer, you want to come on and say Fateh?
Vaiguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaiguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji Ki Fateh. How are you guys?
Good.
We're good.
Very good.
Good. Okay, so let's just get started right off the bat. Kamalvir, let's just let you go first. And can you tell us about how you came into Sikhi? Maybe like what year, what inspired you? Was it the internet? Was it a book? Was it a person you met? Just shoot.
Yeah, so I learned about Sikhi after 9/11. Basically, there were some documentaries that came out differentiating Sikhs and letting the world know who Sikhs were actually, based off of confusions and culture. But I didn't learn too much more past, they exist and it's a separate culture or religion. Then in 2015, I made some friends, Punjabi Sikh friends in Washington State. I started following Sikhi and studying Sikhi, I guess. And then there was just a very natural progression. I just really clicked with Sikh values, and it just made sense to me. And from there on, 2017, I was blessed with Amrit in Punjab, and 2018, we moved here to California.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. How about you girls? Do you want to talk about, how it was for you?
Well, my mom did take Amrit in 2017. At that time, I was 7 years old, and we were Christian before we converted to Sikhi. And so, she just told us what Sikhi was about. I loved Sikhi and how it was so inclusive. How no, you didn't have to be one type of person. Everyone was able to be Sikh. They didn't they weren't hating on anybody else. Very open, and they were like basically like Sikhi and stuff was made from like a bunch of other different religions, like you know uh how I loved how like Guru Nanak, he wasn't like he like was taught by people from other religions, and he took those lessons from other religions, um, and he actually made Sikhi with all like these lessons that he learned and everything, and just like converting into Sikhi, like it was kind of hard at the beginning, being vegetarian, all that kind of stuff, but after a while, just it was really easy.
So, it's just like the oneness and how Guru Nanak took all the absolute truths from those traditions and said, see, we're all one. We all have these same beliefs. Like, what are we even fighting about? And gave us this lifestyle. So now you feel like the lifestyle, it's easier, and that your life has improved by following the Sikh lifestyle?
Yes, absolutely.
How about you, Gravir?
When my mom actually when she was giving Amrit, I was 2 years old, and like my sister said, she taught us everything, and I don't really remember anything like anything changing, because I was like 2 and I couldn't really remember anything. But I like how like Guruji, he's not like forcing anyone to be like Amritari or to be a Sikh. He's just teaching people to teach other people so other people could learn. And if they want, they could change or something. And I like how it's not forcing you into being a Sikh, other than like other communities and other religions. Yeah.
Okay, so you really like how. So that's kind of like the concept of Sahaj, so that you enter into Sikhi, and it's kind of like a smooth transition towards your goal, which is connecting with the one.
I think a huge thing for us, the girls can say if this is true or not. For us, we don't really believe that anyone should be targeted or to be told what they have to believe or what they need to do, or you believe this way or something bad's going to happen to you, or things like this. So we really love Sikhi for this reason. The anti-conversion kind of attitude is really a blessing and allows my children to accept friends of every faith and every background, and encourage them to celebrate their own individual faith and their own individual background without feeling pressured to believe or follow like we do.
Yeah, I like love the idea that like there's not like one set path that you have to take to like connect to the one, like religions are just like different paths to getting to the same destination.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, Sikhi really says, like, this is your identity, and nothing is, can be forced on anyone. That's a really interesting concept that you bring up about how raising a family, raising children in a Sikh lifestyle makes them more, and that anti-conversion thing, that we're not better than you, we're not saying we're right and you're wrong, that kind of attitude makes them more open-minded and accepting of the people around them. Because, and how you're saying, if you do this one thing, then you're scared that something bad will happen to you, or so it's a religion of love, not of fear. And also, being a person who was raised a Christian, you guys said you were previously raised, familiar with Christianity, raised in Christianity. And I'm not saying it's all Christianity, but also the way I was raised was a lot of hellfire and brimstone kind of thing. And there was a lot of fear. I didn't feel connected to God. I felt afraid. Mm-hmm. And now it's the opposite of that. And I couldn't be more grateful, because living a life of fear it's not what the Guru wants for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 100. It's one of the biggest reasons that I fell in love with Sikhi. I also grew up in my biological father is very modern, non-denominational, evangelical Christian. And I grew up being told regularly that I was going to hell for any numerous reasons, or if it could be anything. At one point the devil lived in my TV and I couldn't watch TV anymore. So it was kind of jarring all the time, kind of very traumatic. And I feel like a lot of people that were blessed enough to grow up with Sikhi maybe don't realize this about the other side, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a really huge contrast, having come from a different tradition into this tradition. So do you guys feel that, and it sounded like you sort of touched on it, do you guys feel that there's a lot of room for you to express your individuality within Sikhi? Like, everyone's a Sikh, but there's room for you to express your individuality as a Sikh. Like, not everyone's like a cookie cutter Sikh exactly the same. Is that making sense? Like, maybe you can elaborate on that.
Yeah. Be honest, because I feel like, I'm gonna have her say, I do feel like, when you're a kid growing up, no matter what faith you're in, there's gonna be this feeling of restraint. Even no matter how open necessarily, or whatever faith you kind of grow up in, there is still guidelines, and there is still, it's not just, do whatever you wish type of deal. But I try to give them as much space to express themselves while still sticking within the guidelines. But she very much has a teenage perspective, so I want her to be completely honest and say exactly how she feels, because maybe there's other teenagers that will see this and can relate to her. So, and then Gurveer has a totally different also. So go ahead.
In the Sikh community, there is different levels of being a Sikh. Some Sikhs, they still sometimes eat egg, or they don't do all the bath and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you just you can do bath every morning, or you're trying to get to do all your bath. And there's some Sikhs who are hardcore Sikh. They do all their bath, they don't eat any meat. We try to do all of our bath. We don't eat any meat. But just everyone is trying their best and stuff, and I think that's amazing, because nobody is oh, you have to do this, or you have to do this, or you're bad Sikh, but it's never like that. Nobody ever says anything like that. Although in my school there's only one or two other Sikh, and there's only one other kid who ties a star in my entire school, and we're also in different grades, so sometimes it can be hard, being one of the only Sikh who ties it a star, and I'm the only girl Sikh that ties it a star, and so it's actually sometimes because we live in California, so it's a lot easier than when I lived in Washington and stuff, because everyone's a lot more accepting here. I also do have a group of friends who have asked before about Sikhi, and I've told them, oh, this is Sikhi, this is why I died at a store. And there's a lot of people who actually are really interested in learning about Sikhi, friends, teachers, people at the school. But it's usually really easy, there's a couple people here and there that will be oh, you're going to hell and stuff, but it's really nice.
How do you feel though about being able to express yourself? Because obviously you don't have your hair open. Do you want to address on the things we don't do that maybe normal teenage girls do, and how that has affected you, if you've had periods of time where you've kind of questioned things, or how it's made you feel in that way? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, when I first started talking about it, I was really excited to, But like once I like hit like fifth grade, like I saw like a lot of like girls, like doing their hair and like having their hair out, right? And I was like the only girl like in my entire school who like wore the star. And so like I started like thinking like like maybe like I should just like tie like a kiski or like just like tie a mall, but like then like I'd go to the Gurdwara, and there'd be like everyone tying the stars, like no one would have their hair out. And so I'd feel like really accepted there. And it was like a really hard time, But like my mom was always telling me like, like you wear a crown and you should be like, really like proud of that. And so whenever people like started asking like, oh, like why tie a star and stuff, I'll be like, oh, I'm wearing a crown, like this is like my crown, like this is like a part of me. I tie this because of my religion. This is why I tie it. Like I can like tell you more if you want to. And I started becoming like really proud of my star.
That's really awesome. Yeah. I mean, this is the symbol that we follow the guru. And I think in the West, people don't have like a really good grasp on what the word guru means. Where in India, if you say, oh, I follow the guru, they'll be like, oh, which one?
Mm-hmm.
Because the different groups have their own, gurus and everything. But it is our distinct gift from the guru to look this way and to accept our form and accept the form that he gave us, and then have that confidence like you did to share it with people, because it does make them curious. They're seeing this, and it's a really good way to share our faith without pushing it on people, because they come to us and then they ask the questions. It's out of their curiosity. And all the negative things are just noise. Because what you're doing is right for you, or else maybe you wouldn't be doing it. Because I don't see your mom forcing you into anything.
I want to be very open and clear, because this is very much a place, I feel like a safe spot, and I want other parents to be able to see this. As a parent, I've explained this to my kids. There have been times where my older two, not my youngest yet, it kind of comes around puberty, have been unsure about following Sikhi. And I have, had my own thinking on this. And a lot of parents I know that are not converts, that maybe come here and feel that they want to assimilate into Western culture and not have their kids be picked on, or not have it be an issue, or if their kids kind of push back, they don't want to force them. My opinion on this is, these children are my children. They were given to me by Guru Sahib. They're a gift. And as long as they are with me, it is my job to raise them in Sikhi and to keep them on the path in Sikhi. So whereas I'm not necessarily forcing them like, oh, you are going to be Sikh for your life. In this time, I feel that Sikhi is the best path. And as their mother, it is my job to show them the best path. So they will follow Sikhi in my house, as long as they're, child aged. So Agam can attest, she has had a couple periods in her life where she has said, Mom, I don't know. And I said, okay, stick with it. You're going to stick with it. If my children do grow up one day and decide it's not for them, or there's a different path Guru Sahib puts them on, I will love them and respect them the same. But for now, this is how their life is. And I feel like even, I don't know, Charlene, but maybe you can say like, I think we all have our moments of weakness. We all have our moments of doubt. We all have moments where we're unsure, but to just kind of push through that has been so important.
Mm-hmm. So, and also my mom at times, like whenever I was like, hey, I don't know if like Sikhi is like the way for me, like she has been like, well, you are free to like look into other religions, like find any other religions like that are like good and like they're like good morals and all that kind of stuff. She has like been like that is like I am okay with you like researching that kind of stuff. But I think Sikhi is like an amazing like pillar, has great morals. I just love Sikhi like inside and out. But there was a question. Do you feel pressured to be more Sikh and have to wear bana? And are the kids free to wear what they want? we are free to wear what we want. Of course, like we always dress modestly, like no crop tops, no shorts, all that kind of stuff. But we are very I am very expressive with my wardrobe. At times it is not great. Cute. Okay, wow. But we are able to wear what we want. Sometimes I'll wear like I like wearing chola and stuff, especially when I'm practicing gakka. And sometimes I wear like a suit to school. But most of the times I wear like jeans and like a t-shirt, or like I'll wear overalls or something like that. We are very free to like wear what we want. And also there's another question. Oh wait, Kabir, do you wanna speak on what you wear?
Yeah. So also, if like, let's say, I'm sure I'll never do it, but like my sister has like short overalls, so we would wear like something under it. Like if we ever did wear something that wasn't appropriate or wasn't really modest, we would wear something under it so we could cover ourselves. And yeah, can you read the next question though?
Yeah, I think we're all not used to meeting a Sikh convert, and are always curious. Why did you convert, and what was wrong with your birth religion?
So what?
Because you don't remember
I'll let my mom say this one.
Thank you. So I was raised in Christianity and different sects, if you will, of Christianity. My father's parents, my dadi, they were Catholic, devout Catholics. As I addressed before, my dad is an evangelical Christian. My mom is kind of agnostic, and my mother's parents, they were Methodist. So I look at Methodist as kind of Christian light. And I was actually baptized in the Methodist church when I was 26 or 27. So as an adult, I chose that. I did find Christianity as the way to connect to the Creator, and it's really the way that I knew. I had researched lightly other faiths, but never Sikhi before. And there were just some core things that I've always disagreed with in Christianity, but because it was the way that I was able to connect to the Creator, it was the path that I was following at the time. So I've always believed in reincarnation, which is one thing that is not, I guess, believed or thought of in Christianity. We have in Christianity, there's this one life, and your soul will either be saved and you can go to heaven, or you're cursed to eternal damnation. So I just never believed that a Creator who loved his creation would condemn them to eternity of torture. And I just never agreed with that. I also never agreed in the idea that it is our job to convert people and to get them to believe what we believe. Sorry, someone got a little hungry. So I am adamantly against converting other people. I think it is an awful practice. I think that forcible conversions have destroyed entire cultures, languages, and taken away so much from the world. So those two things, they don't exist in Sikhi. Obviously, we believe in reincarnation, and obviously, we do not believe in converting other people. And the whole being our brother's keeper is a huge, important thing for me. It is my job as an Amritdhari Sikh. I tell this to people all the time, that it is my job to, without any question for a regard of my own life, to protect humanity. And if I see someone, whether I know them or like them or agree with them at all, it is my job to protect them in any given situation. And I love that. I connect so much with that, honestly.
I don't really remember, a lot about like when I was a Christian. I do remember like my grandpa like forcing me to go to like Sunday school like every Sunday whenever I was like at his house and that kind of stuff. And I just did not agree with a lot of like the beliefs that Christianity had. I think like at some points like I think some of like the morals about Christianity are good, and I think some of them are really bad. Because I just me personally, and just like the older I got, like the more I was just like, oh, you know, Christianity is just like not for me, you know, like I don't believe in a lot of this stuff. And I remember in 4th grade we had to do this project on missionaries, and that's when I really just was like, you know, Christianity is definitely not, you know, I do not believe in any of this at all. It's just definitely not for, I think, our entire family.
Yeah.
She's just here to look cute.
Yeah. So yeah, converting the whole concept of conversion to, and like having grown up also like in an evangelical type background. I mean, I remember in our church we had people, they would fly to the church from India, England, Germany, Africa, like all over. And I'm like, coming to this tiny little church in nowhere, Pennsylvania, by the way. And I was like, how did they get to these people? And this is like before the internet was like big.
Mm-hmm.
And even as a kid, just like not really understanding, like, why are we doing this? And then now as an adult, when people are like, oh, I've been to India, and then I wait because I want to know why they went. Some people go for like a yoga retreat, which is cool, you know, like no, I mean, that sounds cool.
It's cool. But how many times have people come up to you and ask you, how is your yoga going?
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. I don't do. We can touch on that in a second if we want, because I'm sure you've had very similar experiences.
Yes.
But you know, people will say, you know, I went to India, and then they'll say, oh, I went there on a mission trip. And I really kind of like
pull back for a second.
Because if you're going there to offer humanitarian aid without any expectation, that's fine, because that's charity and that's seva. You're not supposed to get anything returned. Not converts, not, I don't know, look how many people I saved for Jesus or anything like that. Like, you're not. So I think it's great to go there and offer people free food, education, clothing, housing, any kind of assistance. But don't dangle it like a carrot and say, oh, but if you accept Jesus as your savior, then you can have these things.
Then you can, yes.
Because there are people there that maybe Christianity is their path, and then they will find it. But it shouldn't be based on any kind of manipulation.
And that's the one thing I love. That's another thing. I shouldn't say one thing. That's another thing I love about Sikhi is the concept that we don't pick our dharam, right? Like, we don't pick our faith. Guru Sahib puts us on the path that is right for us. So no one is this whole concept of you're born this religion. You're raised in a family that practices a religion. Guru Sahib will put you on the path that is for you at the time that it's needed, right? I would not have this outlook on Sikhi, probably, if I was born into a Sikh family, right? The concepts, the ideas, the feelings that I have about Sikhi and some of the teachings, I wouldn't have if I wasn't from a traumatic evangelical background, if that makes sense. So,
it does make sense, and I think you're completely within your right to say that. I mean, everyone's experience is individual, and so Kamalvir is expressing her experience in the words that she wants to use.
Only mine.
Yep, and absolutely, you're allowed to do that. So, and I encourage that, and I think people should be accepting of someone saying, "This is my experience, and these are the words that I'm choosing to explain my experience to you." And I definitely think there are a lot of people out there that would describe maybe the religion that their family raised them in, and I would assume that their family thought they were doing the best thing, but they grow into adults and they say, oh, a lot of that was very traumatic for me.
Yeah, in all faiths, and even in Sikhi.
Yeah.
I mean, there is people, and it's not the religion in and of itself. It's how people practice the religion that causes those things in most cases I found.
I'm trying to find the.
There's actually another question. I often see Punjabi culture and patriarchy flowing over into Sikhi, which I find hard to deal with. How do you, as Western cores, deal with that?
That's a huge thing that honestly I've thought about a lot, and it's been a very tumultuous topic, is the idea of patriarchy within Sikhi. I do find that people can confuse Sikhi and Punjabi culture, and they mix them and blend them, much as happens with Christianity here in the United States. It's very important to differentiate Sikh culture from Punjabi culture. And in the Sikh faith, there's not a thing. The patriarchy is not a thing. However, in culture and society, it is huge. It's number one, right? So I have faced, as Benji has faced, lots of things regarding patriarchy. I try to remind my girls that although Guru Sahib made it very clear that men and women, although not the same, are equal in their eyes, and remind them it's not about necessarily equality, but equity, especially in our society. But yeah, we face a lot of this, so much, and this is just such a huge topic for us.
Sometimes people in like my school, right, like they'll like not even know about like Punjabi. They'll just be like, oh, are you Indian, and have you done like this and that, like do you speak Indian? And I'm like, no, I'm Sikh. I was like born here, you know. I converted, like I'm not Indian. But a lot of times they will like mistake that, and sometimes like even after I explain it, they're like, oh, so like where though, like in India? Like I remember one time I had like a substitute in one of my classes, and she's like, oh, like where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from Washington, right? And she's like, oh no, but like where were you born? Like were you born in India? And I'm like, oh no, I was like born in Washington. And she's like, oh, do you have parents that come from India? I'm like, no, I have no Indian descent, nothing like that. I was born here, but I am a Sikh, and you know, sometimes I do see that like where the confusion comes in. But I mean, most of the time I just like show them, like to like tell them, you know, hey, like, you know, I'm not Indian or I'm not Punjabi, like I'm from Washington, like I'm from America. I am Sikh, and Sikh is like a religion that was born in India. And then I just like explain that to them.
Yeah, that literally anyone can be a Sikh. Literally anyone.
Anyone can be a Sikh. And I think touching on the patriarchy thing, that comes at different stages and from different people, right? So, and at different levels. So in terms, I feel like converts with amongst ourselves, we don't experience that as much. But one thing I'll address here, which is probably going to be an obvious question for people. I'm obviously a single mom. I have 3 children. I have an older son as well. One thing where patriarchy plays a huge role, or not even patriarchy, just the preferential treatment for men or boys over girls and women, this is a prime example. If I was a man, right, in Punjabi culture, a single father, right, either my children would have been staying with their mother and the mother's family, and I could easily find a partner, right, or to do this with, or my parents would be taking care of my children, and then again, it would be fairly easy for me to find a partner. But because I'm a woman and a single mom, and I choose to be responsible and take care of my children, I am seen in Punjabi culture as less than, as tainted, as damaged, as what's wrong with her, why did the man leave, all these kinds of things, which has nothing to do with Sikhi. It's all a Punjabi culture thing. And that's probably the biggest issue I face right now.
But what I do love about Sikhi and the Sikh community is that they're very accepting, like everyone, like in the community that we know, like they're, very accepting and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of times people like who like born like into like the culture, they will be like a little judgy and like will hear like oh yeah, this and that, like what my mom was saying. But a lot of times in the Sikh community, like they understand and they don't like judge my mom for being a single parent. Yeah.
I think you're saying too, there's like this double standard. It's like so a mom is doing something that they view as natural, but if a dad was doing what you're doing, they'd be like, oh, what a great father.
Mm-hmm.
But you're doing what you're doing because you're their mom and you love them and you want to take care of them and be a good mom or be responsible and all those things. And then someone wants to bring up that something somewhere is a shame. Okay, this show, we're talking, everyone on our show so far has been not American, but a Western convert to Sikh. And we're not going to do that exclusively. We have some guests planned that were born into Sikhi, but they've lived in this country and they're kind of also a bridge. They see the differences. They say, I see the good things in my culture and the good things in your culture, and all those things are compatible with Sikhi, so that's how they live.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to say to all the women who are experiencing patriarchy in their lives, specifically in our community, the Sikh community, stop asking for respect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because when you ask, it's kind of like you're submitting to their authority, that they can grant you the respect.
Mm-hmm.
But it already belongs to you. So I say, own it before you walk in there. I didn't say you already took it. You already took it. You're not going to go in to a gurdwara or a Sikh space or a space that is patriarchal or dominated by men and ask them to respect you. Just own it. Own it. And as soon as I started putting that into practice in my life, I noticed a really big change in the way that I was approached, the way I was treated. And I never was treated badly, but I mean, whenever the sort of patriarchal things would come into play, and my response to that was no. You could just see there was just like a lot of like,
that's it.
Like, what's gonna happen, whatever. And it got to the point where now people are like, even the other Panjis are like, they're scared of you. And I said, that's great.
That's great. And honestly, and I know we've had conversations about this, that you've experienced this as well. Being born in this country and this culture, especially in the time that we've seen things evolve, and I don't feel as though a female individual comes across Sikhi and decides to follow Sikhi from this culture without being very strong. Because the idea of us being a militant culture, the Sikh culture, doesn't happen upon people that don't have a fighting spirit. And so a lot of people that were maybe born into the culture are not used to women knowing and owning their value and their worth, and really being strong and determined and outspoken, more importantly. I think that me being part of the Punjabi culture for some time and being involved in the Punjabi culture, I have learned to be a little more appeasing to the palate, I guess, when I'm speaking to certain people. But people know I'm going to say if something's wrong, if I feel that this is not aligning with Sikhi, I'm going to say it. And if everyone else is quiet, that's okay. And a lot of people don't like that. But I want to encourage all the Kaurs, all the Benjis, anyone, remember like who we are. And although Maharaj said like we are equal, we deserve the same amount of respect, we've had to fight for every bit of that. Mm-hmm. So remember that. Like, remember, yes, Sikhi is about equality. Ik Onkar, we all are one. But because of whatever society we're born into, we have had to fight for our rights for that within the society.
And it's just so strange because I know all those little boys have seen mom rage.
Have your daughters next to you.
Is it what?
There's a question. Does it help you in this to have your daughters next to you?
Absolutely. They make me feel stronger every single day. I want to be stronger for them. I want to show them that they can be powerful women and they can, show society what it means to be a Kaur, and they can embody that fully. And just having them here always reminds me to be stronger and to make better decisions so they can see me making those decisions.
Right. You're an example for them, and as Sikhi has empowered you, then also, like, do you feel that, you're raising daughters that are empowered through womanhood, through their core identity, and through Sikhi?
Mm-hmm.
When my brother first went to middle school and started going to school, I think he has it the worst out of all three of us, me, him, my sister, because he's he's pretty tall, he's pretty fit for his age, and so he would be called because he tied a stud and he wore a bandana even before COVID and all that kind of stuff. So he'd be called you're a terrorist, don't do this, all that kind of stuff. But because he was really intimidating, so nobody really messed with him and stuff. So when I started going to middle school, I didn't really get a lot of those comments and stuff. Sometimes people say jokingly and stuff, would be hey, don't do that, it's not funny. But a lot of times, especially this year, I have learned how to be how to step up, and I joined FBLA, and I am the vice president, and I put in my input, and I make sure my voice is heard. I'll speak louder. Even at the beginning of the year at school, I made sure people knew who I was. I made sure I was heard. We had to do this exercise in the beginning of the school year where we had to get in line alphabetically without the help of any of the teachers. And I got really especially the reason why I have my voice heard all the time is because I'm really annoyed when people don't do what they're supposed to do. And so so nobody else was trying to get in line or actually try to do anything. So I was okay, everyone start I need all the A's to come up here right now. And people weren't coming up. I was you better come up here right now. I was making people listening to me, and I think that's really helped me a lot. I remember I was sick doing the sick I had really bad allergies. I couldn't get out of bed. It hurt a lot. But even when I was sick, people actually voted for me to be the vice president of FBLA just because I made sure people knew me and my voice was heard. This has also just helped me every day, just in at my school, because I go to trade school and my regular school. So at the regular school days, I make sure all my work is done on time. I make sure all the teachers know me. I make sure almost every person who works at the school knows me. I make sure to have an impact on people's lives. For instance, my math teacher last year, he needed help. At the end of the school year, we were doing testing, and people stole all of his stuff, right? And for snacks and stuff they bought for the class. So I decided to step up and give buy all the snacks for all the classes and stuff. And I made sure whenever when I see people getting bullied and stuff, I step up and make sure to help. And I really hope that like I am able to help people just on like a daily basis, even if it's like small. I make sure to always like smile at people passing by. Like, and that's why a lot of people don't really make like those comments, you know, like oh, like, oh, you're a terrorist, all that kind of stuff, because, you know, like I make sure to like input myself into other people's lives. I like take action.
Yeah.
See, I think that's the thing that's really missing with in the United States with people being aware of Sikhs, is because sometimes it's the idea that if we don't bother anybody, nobody will bother us. So there's the kind of living in a little Sikh bubble, which there are nice things about that, but it can't protect you from ignorance. So
Yeah.
like how you're putting yourself out there, that people know who you are, you're not leaving them any room to theorize about what kind of person Agam Jodhpur is. They know because you told them, because you showed them. And I mean, they see your leadership skills, they see your confidence. And yeah, I really am like super pumped for like the next generation of Kaurs, because I think that the whole be sweet and be subdued, you can be sweet. I didn't say don't be sweet. I can be sweet, but to be sweet and be subdued and don't talk back and don't do this and don't do that, that's not what being a Kaur is about. That's not our identity. Like, you ask these guys, okay, the Shaheeds, the Shaheedian, you know, they fought next to Mai Bago, and you know, all the Kaurs
There
who
was
fought
no-
next to them,
there was
like,
nothing cute and polite about her. She literally shamed an entire village of men into doing what she told them to do, what she knew was right by the guru. Like, when I always say, Singhs can be the voice of the Panth. Kaurs are the action of the Panth. So people can disagree with me, that's fine. But if you want to look through our history and you want to look at what happens when things really, really get hard, and when people really have to say something and do something, not just talk about who we are, but be who we are, look at the Benjia. Look at all the chunni that is there. That's not we are the ones that take the action. And I have seen this in my personal life. And it's another reason why people in the past have questioned my decision. In Washington, we had a Sikh Soch, and we would go to Seattle. They still do it every single week, and do feed the homeless for several hours in downtown Seattle. And I would take my daughters with me, and people would question me when I go to do these things. And even we do it on our own, me and the girls, and people will go to parks and hand out langar to homeless population. And they question kind of my parenting in the fact of keeping my children safe. And around different people and environments, and how can I expose them to these things, and how can I put them in these situations where there's perceived danger. And I mean, you just heard the product of this, you know, she is unafraid and willing to give of herself to anyone in any situation. And not in a submissive way, but in a way that we're designed to do as Sikhs, is to care for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell them that, oh, we do seva, but you only do this kind of seva because you're a girl. Or you only do this kind of seva because you're a child. I mean, we're just, the last few days that have passed, our youngest brothers gave their life. Our youngest brothers gave their lives so we can be who we are now today, 6 years old, 7 years old, just, giving them themselves. So I really want Sikhs to, especially mothers, to get rid of this notion that, I shouldn't put my child in this situation. If we're doing seva, we're doing it together, and we're doing it for the people that need it, and then it will create leaders of tomorrow.
I do believe in like being kind and being sweet to like others. unless they are not being kind and sweet and just ignorant like towards you. Like I have met like a couple of people who have like I've like been trying to be like nice to them on multiple occasions, but just like they just like won't, you know, they just like always mean, always rude, like they never, you know, try to understand. And so I would just like be like, okay, you can be like this, but I am not going to be sweet to you anymore. Like you can be like this and I will ignore you. I will like tell you when you're like doing something wrong. So either stop and fix yourself, or, you know, like I will make sure you fix yourself. Okay, either you do it yourself or I'll do it for you. I remember when I was doing Seva with my mom when we were feeding the homeless. I think like I first started, you know, like speaking and like you know, putting myself out there, like when I was helping and there was this guy who was like smoking, right? And I remember my mom was like saying another person like, hey, like no smoking underneath the tent, right? And so he's coming underneath the tent and my mom was like busy like helping someone else, right? And so I was like, hey, like there's no smoking underneath the tent, you know? And like I wasn't like, hey, can you please not smoke? Hey, it'd be nice if you couldn't, if you didn't smoke. Like I was like, how old was I? I was like, yeah, like 7 or like 6, you know? And I like said it like, hey, don't smoke underneath the tent, like you can't smoke here. And so like he immediately like put like the cigarette out and he was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know. And so that's when I realized like, hey, like I just need to like put myself out there. I just need to like have confidence.
Yourself.
Yeah, and people will listen. Like so that's just like what I've been doing like for like my whole life. Like if like I see someone and like they're doing like something the wrong way, I'll be like, hey, like don't do that. And like sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, like are you gonna like stop me and stuff? And so I do stop them because of course I'm gonna stop you. I don't know why you even have to ask that. And then like when they do listen, like I'm like, okay, thank you, you know, like I like
Appreciate it.
yeah, appreciate like when they do.
Yeah, we just don't want to have a doormat mentality. Like you say, even in some cases, you know, where people aren't being very good to you, you can, to overuse this saying, take the high road. And sometimes the response to people is just silence. I mean, I've been in certain situations where, you know, the person was just like, la, 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 and I was like, wait. And then I just left.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was
sometimes it's like sometimes when people are just like going on and on and on, just like you know, yada, you know, sometimes like I'll literally say like, oh, I'm sorry, like I can't understand nonsense, like can you please repeat yourself? I can't understand you, like you're like talking weird. I don't think like are you speaking the same language I am, because you're sounding very stupid right now. And I'll tell it straight to the face. And a lot of times, especially men, you know, like they'll be like how like that's like so rude, like why would you do that? I'm like, yeah, you were rude first, like I'm sorry, but that's how it is.
For sure, you do that to me a lot too. Whenever I'm whining or something, or I tell her, hey, but I wanted to do this, when she like whenever I'm whining, she's like, I'm sorry, what did you say? I don't speak nonsense.
Okay, so I think suffice to say, Sikhi makes very strong women. And yeah.
And we're proud of that. And they'll continue to grow and work on like socializing. I mean, socializing there's a big learning curve there, especially when you have a lot of things involved, like different cultures, different religions, and you know, it's just I was having a conversation with someone, and I said something about going full Chandy. You guys ever hear that? You know, Chandy, like the feminine warrior energy, like go full Chandy. He goes, no, you don't need to go full Chandy all the time. And I was like, man, I was in the Air Force for 10 years. If you think I don't know what appropriate force means. And I was like, I'm not saying, he goes, sometimes it's a test. If you don't go full Chandy, you pass the test. And, you know, I think we can all agree there's a time and a place for going full Chandy. And there's a time and a place to like just be calm and just be like, okay, Sat Bachanji, which is you're right, you know. But yeah, I absolutely agree, you know, raising and being a single mom, like I said, it is hard work. It's really hard work. But there are some advantages too. They're seeing a strong female example. They're seeing that you can do things on your own. It's not the end of the world if you don't have a partner to help you. It's not, and that Vaiguru is still there. Like, you guys have everyone has their life and what's happened in their life, and that no matter what, you could still cling to the Guru's feet, right? And even when maybe it feels like everything else is lost, you still have that. You guys have your Sikhi and your family, and that there are all different types of families, and all those families are acceptable. And all of us, that every human being is deserving of Guru Nanak's love, and Gurbani is for everyone. Let's not trying to fit everybody into a little box or an ideal of what a family is, or what a Sikh is, or what this is. And I think that's a lot of what this show is about. We really want to show the diversity within our community, and then talk about these things that we experience. These aren't complaints. These are just experiences. And I think people can resonate with you, and they could take, either some inspiration, or they're just nodding their heads and saying, "Yep, that's happened to me," or "I know what she's talking about." And just to feel like you're not alone in something that you've experienced, or how you feel. And I think that it's really important to showcase that. So I'm really glad you guys were willing to come on and talk to us about your family and your experience.
What are they asking in the chat, Benji? What are they?
The question. Maji Momoko, do you have a good support within the Sikh community, a group of cores? Can you speak on this and the importance of this support?
Yeah.
Can I take, and then you want to kind of see what you have? So absolutely, I do. I want to say, for starters, I do. The kids and I have lived in the same area since 2018, and we have been going to the same Gurdwara Sahib for about that same amount of time. There are several Benjis. We actually have a group here. Luckily, I live in a state where there is a large population of Sikhs. And so we actually have a group for our general area for moms, specifically Sikh moms, on WhatsApp. So, I mean, it's really amazing. And, not everyone's going to agree or see eye to eye, especially it's hard to understand people that are coming from a different culture. So I do feel that it is important for you to vet your friends, but that's true in any situation. That doesn't, it's not, faith inclusive, exclusive, whatever. And I've had negative experiences with other women. I've had some very negative experiences, but I do feel that I have a support, and definitely I can lean on the Sangat that I have here locally and also abroad. Benji and I have been friends for many years via Facebook, never met in person, but we do have long discussions and chats, and I feel like I have several other cores, Stevie Core. There's other friends that I have via social media that I have made that are very important. But I also have my core group of friends that I met back at the end of 2015 when I first came to Sikhi. They are still my best friends and like my sisters, and I lean on them. They're my family. My girls call them Masi, like, oh my, they're the Masis, and they are my family. And I think I would be lost sometimes completely without them. It is very important. And if other women are out there and they don't have that circle of support, they don't have the backbone that we need sometimes, reach out to any of us and talk to us. That's what we're here for. I don't care what culture you came from or you're in. I don't care what part of the world you're from. I am a woman for women, and we should all be here to support each other. And we need each other. We're community-based beings. We're not meant to be alone.
We need to have support.
Yeah, and just join together and just love each other. Like any kind of petty division and all that is just really unnecessary. And just a big distraction. I think people get distracted by a lot of the little things and
Mhm.
judgments, which is anti-Gurmat behavior, and like we're all guilty of that, right? Like, but yeah, like sometimes women, when we should be joining together, we're being the hardest on each other. But yeah, I think that's really great. You found like you have a community, you have like those solid people, because you got to have like a solid inner circle, even if it's small, like a solid inner circle.
I feel the same way like about my mom too. Like at our Gurdwara, there's a lot of sangat. There's a lot of people that you could lean on, and also I don't just have like sangat I could lean on. Like a lot of people in like our community, like my friends. Whenever, like if my mom might not understand, maybe it's about like my friends or like she would probably always understand. But like if I feel more comfortable telling my friends, I feel like I can lean on them. I can lean on sangat. I could lean on like a lot of people in the community because it's just I feel more comfortable, especially like in the state of California. There's like a lot of sangat. There's a very big amount of sangat, and you could really lean on a lot of people.
Gravir, for you, and Agam can attest to this, when you start to feel, or before, now it's not the same as much, but before, when you would start to feel like lonely or like you were the only one maybe at school or when we were out in public, like the only one that looked like you, when you would go to the Gurdwara, then how would that make you feel then, being around other people?
I would feel like if I was like the only one, I would actually feel kind of like lonely or like just that one person that only ties to star. Like I'm like the only sangat. But then like whenever I go to the Gurdwara, I feel like I have like a lot of meaning and I actually have a part in the world. But like when I'm the only one that ties my to star or the only one that wears a kara, I feel lonely and like just I feel like I'm the only one on the earth that actually like cares about Guruji when I'm like the only one.
Like the group that my mom met in 2015, like we're all very close, you know. We've known each other like my mussies. I love them to the ends of the earth. Like whenever like I need help with anything, it could be like sicky or not, they're always there. Like if we need help, like it could like be like personal, or just anything, and they'd always be there to help. And also Sangat that we have met like within like these past few years, they've also been like very helpful and very kind. I feel like I can always like go to them like if I ever need any help. Like me and my sister both do gatka, and it's really fun.
A lot of our teachers.
Yeah, and a lot of our teachers also are like the people that we have met. Like I have the same coach this year that I had last year, and she has helped me, you know, like answer like a lot of questions. And also there's also a lot of other Benjis who have been like in like the same situation as me, or have felt like the same way that I have before, and so like they can offer like support or help, or just like or they're just like sometimes just there to listen, which is really helpful. I also have a couple of friends, and even though like we don't like live close together and that kind of stuff, like we can like still talk like via text and calls and that kind of stuff. I feel really supported like almost all the time, and I'm also very lucky to have like very understanding and open friends, like even like here in Madeira, at my school. So I'd say like I'm really lucky to have like so many people that I can like go to.
I think the most important part is if you are feeling alone, to just put yourself out there, even just to one or two people, and it will change everything. And I know how it can feel, being alone, being different, feeling like there's not people out there that can relate to you or understand your situation. I think it's very important to just put yourself out there and reach out to someone. Reach out to me. If anyone's feeling, please contact me. I'll leave the contact information, and I'll be more than happy to talk to them.
Yeah, and that's the whole point, like for Sikhi Cast too, because we realize some people, they're the only Sikh for miles and miles and miles. The closest Gurdwara is maybe 3, 4, 5 hours away.
Or in a
And
different
even
city.
if they could go there, they're just not even sure where to start. And there is information online and some resources that we brought up.
It's still intimidating.
It is, and it's a lot, especially it can be a lot. It can be a lot. And if you're still trying to learn things and then also get involved in the community, and like for me, it was a lot, but I was more excited and driven to finally be connecting spiritually, which is something I'd wanted for my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
That it was easier for me to put the negative things aside, or have feelings. You're allowed to do that. Feel my way through them, process them, and then learn from that thing and move on, just like your girl said in the beginning. So that's Sikh means student. We're just learning how to
What's the next?
be good guru's kids, right?
The other question, it says, I have a friend who converted to Islam and was judged badly by her Christian parents and extended family. Do you ever have to deal with this? I know a lot of Western Sikh who have gone through this. Can I take this one?
Go ahead. Go for it, babe.
Like my mom's dad, he is like, how she said, like, he's like hardcore Christian. When we grew up, like, we have tried to connect with him like a couple times in the past, but every single time, like, he's always just like said, he has tried to, like, have me and my sister and sometimes even my brother, like, like, Christianity, like, you need to be Christian. If you don't, you're going to hell. Like, he has told me and my brother to our faces before on multiple occasions, like, you're going to hell because you aren't Christian. He has screamed at me at my sister. Like, he has hit my sister before, He did? Yeah, I remember when you guys were playing like laser tag, like he like pushed her to the floor. Like one time we were like playing a game.
Oh.
And so after like a couple of times of just trying to like, like connect with him, we just like cut him off just entirely. We just don't talk to him anymore. Yeah. Like sometimes like you just like you can try, be like, hey, like this is just who I am now. And if they just can't accept you, if like you're being like judged and stuff, sometimes, you just have to cut them off.
That it's just healthier for everybody if you guys take some space from each other.
You can love someone. I love my father. I love my father to, the ends of the earth. But just because you love someone doesn't mean they're healthy to be in your life. And when I started following Sikhi, I did lose a lot of my family and friends. And not because anything necessarily I changed how I treated them. They just, I don't know, for whatever reason, couldn't get past the change in their own mind or in their own heart. And so a lot of people just stopped wanting to hang out with me or spend time with us. There was no acceptance of something that was different, and so I did lose a lot, but we gained so much more. And I think, when Guru Sahib, for instance, your friend was put on the path of Islam, and that could be the right path for them. And so when someone is put on a path that makes sense for them and is able to connect to the Creator, the things that we're capable of gaining are so much more than what we lose. And to just kind of remind ourselves of that daily.
Yeah. And I feel like, my mom, like her dad wasn't accepting, and like a lot of her family wasn't. But I feel her sisters were probably like the most accepting, like, of her side of the family, because like especially her middle sister, right? She would like just help her a lot, and she like we stayed with her for a little bit, and she was very accepting and very like she wasn't like pushing on us to eat what she ate. Like she would eat meat around us, or she would like eat fish or something, but like she would never push us to eat like meat or fish or anything.
And
like
that's one thing why she's talking about this, is because they have been put in situations when I'm not around, where after we have chosen, this was early on when we chose to go veg, they were forced to like eat meat.
Yeah, like her dad.
If I wasn't around, even by members of my own family.
Her dad would, if my mom was actually by the door, it was when Sissy bought like the plant thing. So you were by the door talking to like Baji or something, and then like her dad was like, "Oh, Gravir, you should actually start eating like fish and meat because like it's very healthy for you. So you should actually really start eating that a lot more." And then I told my mom about it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, he's just telling you that so then you could just like eat it, and he's just like doing his thing, and like he's just trying to force you to eat it and everything like that."
Yeah, like I remember when I was younger, I'm actually like allergic to eggs and stuff.
And your
But
biological dad.
yeah, biological dad. He would like and also my mom's dad, like he would make us like eggs and stuff. Because
Yeah.
I can eat like 1 or 2 eggs without like having an allergic reaction, but he would like force me to like eat eggs and stuff. And there was this one time where it was like my brother's birthday, and my biological dad put like 11 eggs into a cake and gave me a huge slice of it. And because I had like no idea there were eggs in there, and I threw up in my sleep.
That's good. Just,
Yeah, it was not good or fun.
Well,
It's
that's
like-
really dangerous to puke in your sleep. So
or just to basically poison your own children to push your agenda, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, it always makes me wonder why people want to push something so hard when they find out it's part of someone's religion. Whereas,
if it
like
was
my
just-
friends,
yeah.
people were always like the kids in school were always threatening to cut his hair.
Mm-hmm.
But if he just had long hair
Because
he liked it, would they have done the same thing? I wonder.
Like me, I was like a lot of kids at my school were like, "Oh, you should cut your hair, or you should leave your hair down, Gravir." And then there's this other guy. I think he might be Christian or something. He has long hair, and no one ever talks to him about it. They're always like, "Oh, I like your hair," but then if I have my hair down, because like sometimes I have my hair down because I'm rushed, I can't like I'm gonna be late to school.
so she just looks like she ties her all like this in a
Yeah.
book. Like
So then everyone's like, "Oh, Gravir, could you take your hair down, or like you should like trim your hair, Gravir? It's like really long." And like they do that because like I even tell them like, "Oh, it's a part of my religion, I can't cut my hair." And then other kids, they have really long hair and they're like, "Oh, I like your hair," and stuff like that.
And I remember when I was in elementary school, there was this time where like my star fell off because like I was like running around and I hit my head and I fell off. So I like went to the bathroom to like try to like retie my star, right? And I like there were no mirrors like in my school. I can't remember why. I think people like vandalizing the mirrors and stuff. And all there were was like this rusty like metal plate that you could kind of see yourself in the reflection of. So I went to the bathroom and I tried to like start to retie my star, right? And like a bunch of people like kept on like rushing into the bathroom, like trying to save my hair. I'm like trying to retie my star. Like, can you like give me some space? Like, I'm trying to do this. And then after that, they were like, "Oh, can you like take your hair down? Like, can you like take off your star?" And I was like, "No, I can't."
mm-hmm.
Bye. And it was like growing up, especially like with like a bunch of people who do eat meat, like my friends and stuff, like they'll like eat meat and stuff, and they understand that I'm vegetarian. They don't try to like push like try eating meat like on me. They understand, and sometimes like eating lunch, especially at school, because a lot of times I have hot lunches at school. They will actually like trade like with their vegetarian options with my main options, because like almost all main options at school have some sort of meat in it, whether it's like fish sticks or like chicken legs and stuff,
Or pepperoni.
Yeah, pepperoni, like even like the pizza, it has like pepperoni on it. So I have found ways like around that, like just like a lot of sides, or like trade like my main dishes with like some of the side dishes. And also like I've had to like tell like other like Sikh people like, hey, like this is like how like I do it, like you can do it like this. But yeah.
And my friend Avery, she's one of my like closest friends from school, but she was probably the most like understanding like at my school. So like if my mom packs like roti or sabji, she's not like a lot of like people at my school are like, "Ew, what is that?" Like with my they're always like, "Ew, is that like moldy?" Because like it has some like
masala.
Yeah, masala or something like that. And then Avery's just like, "Ooh, can I have some?" And like she's like probably
Find the right friends.
Yeah. She's always asking me like, "Oh, could I have some?" Like, cause one time my mom packed like pronta, and it was like aloo. And then every single time now, like every single time I have pronta, like sometimes she sits with her other friends, but like every single time I have pronta, she always sits next to me. And that's why my mom always packs too, because she always steals some of mine. And she's always like, ooh, can I have some more? Can I have some more? And then like she'd always have my dahi or some of my sabji. And like she's probably my friend that I can actually lean on the most. And she's like probably one of my closest friends.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So we have a question from BBG. She's saying when she lived in Albuquerque, so many times people assume she was connected with the Yogi Bhajan community because she's white. Do you have that happen? So this is what we were gonna say.
The girls
Yes.
aren't gonna know about this. The girls aren't gonna know
Well, I
about.
kind of know about it because when we were at the gas station, someone said, "Oh, you're sick," and then you were like, "Oh no, I'm Punjabi." No.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were at the gas station.
Okay, I'll address.
Or
Let me.
just being American or Western in general, they assume if you don't have like a Southeast Asian background, an Indian background, Punjabi background, that you came through yoga.
Fair assumption. Honestly, this is a fair assumption due to the sheer number of people that follow Yogi Bhajan. Correct? Like, I mean, if we're gonna be completely honest, having fairer skin or being from a different region of the world and following Sikhi, the odds are you were exposed to the idea. I'm not going to say you were exposed to Sikhi. You were exposed to the idea of Sikhi through 3HO.
Or you had some
involvement.
You've seen their stuff because they have a lot of platforms.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. There are missionaries. Anyways, but not really. I don't claim. Okay. Anyways, so yes, this happens to me a lot. And in fact, for years, I did not tie a white dastar for this reason. It wasn't until like the last 2 or 3 years, I want to say, maybe I started like tying a white dastar every once in a while. My son, he still refuses. Refuses. And he gets asked this, and he's a tall white guy with a beard and a turban. And so, I mean, he gets these questions from several people, and I wish he was on. Maybe another time would be a good time to talk to him. But yes, I've been asked, oh, how is your yoga going? All these kinds of things, which is, yoga is a great exercise. That's great and everything. It just doesn't have anything to do with my Sikhi. So, and there are a lot of people that were born into Sikhi that believe, I think just for a lack of like further investigation, that they believe this huge group of people, these great Sikhs that came to Sikhi, blah, blah, blah. And so they believe that it's an honest, innocent desire to connect to the Guru, and they don't fully comprehend the negative impact that Yogi Bhajan has had on the name of Sikhi. And I've had to kind of educate people or inform people the differences, and that I do not follow 3HO, and I have never. Full transparency, I came in through Taksal, so that's just where I stemmed from. So it's very kind of opposite of that, actually. And I used to get offended when people would ask me, but I felt like that was a very ignorant approach to take. And so now I just inform people that that's not a path that I ever wish to be on.
Yeah, it's just like inform them and then say, have you looked at them in depth? And they'll say no, and I say, well, I don't know if you're big on Google, but a lot of stuff has come out, so just to, like, I'm more aligned to the Nihangs, so that's the difference, there. But honestly, like, you and I, we are mainstream Sikhs. So so we're kind of like getting a little over the time. So well, we're not, but let's we're gonna kind of try to wrap it up. If there's like anything last minute you guys like to say, but I definitely would like to do a part 2, and then possibly it'll align with Tegvir's schedule so that he can come on and talk about his experience, because like having a young male voice would also be really, really nice.
And he definitely has a different experience than us.
Yeah.
100%.
I feel like also having him is like a lot. I feel like I could lean on him
yeah.
too, because he's like an older brother, obviously.
And he is very strong in his Sikhi. Also,
Mhm.
he has a very deep connection to Guru Sahib. So he would have some interesting
stories to tell.
And could answer questions maybe
He
for
would
some young
probably-
men, you know, or
Yeah.
He would die for Sikhi. Honestly, he would like fight for Sikhi. He would do anything, and he would like. I feel like if anything, whatever, like if anyone, like him as an older brother, if anyone like teased my mom, me and my sister, like he would, even if he's like not our dad, he would be a father figure. He's a brother figure. He, like, if anything, if anyone bullied me or anyone was being rude to my mom or bullying or being rude to my sister, he would like step up and he would like make sure it would never happen again, because he's like I would never ask for anything more.
And he is that way towards any female.
Yeah.
So there is a whole modern wave of Singhs that are very informed and acknowledge the disparities that are there for women and for females.
I agree. Like I said, I'm really excited for the future generations, especially for your kids. I think you're doing a great job. I'm proud of you guys. I hope you continue to grow and just have positive experiences and grow your Sangat and grow in the Nam, you know, like doing Simran. When everything else fails, we still have the Nam, you know, Sache Naam Mera Taro. So the name is our only support. So when everything else is not looking so good, it's like you got Waheguru, and then, you know, even when the Sangat, sometimes the Sangat fails because we're human. We still have Waheguru.
And I encourage every Sikh that's coming into Sikh, any person coming into Sikhi, learn, memorize your Mool Mantar.
Yeah.
If nothing else
works out,
just job, you know, just do your Mool Mantar. She learned Mool Mantar at 2 years old, you know. Yeah. So, and it will carry you through. If nothing else, you know, start there.
Yeah.
Start with Kunkar and just let that take you.
Yeah. I learned also, and sometimes I do it before bed, like I do mantra before bed, and like I used to like have bad dreams sometimes, or like if I ever do have bad dreams, I like wake up and then I do Mool Mantra. When I go back to sleep, like my dream is perfect and everything's like okay. Yeah, and it's like, or if I even do Simran, then everything's fine. Or if I do a little bit of Bhat, everything's fine. And it's just doing Mool Mantra, or even like sometimes I even just talk to Guruji. Like I ask him, "Oh, could you tell me in my dream like why did this happen?" Or like, what should I expect tomorrow? Or should I be nervous for this? Or can you help me figure out what decision I should make for like my next step in life? And like if I just talk to him and then I go to bed or something, or if I take a nap, or sometimes I do anything right, he could just tell me, and like my dream, he could just show me what will happen, or he could show me what step I should make, or he could show me what step I shouldn't make.
I appreciate the time of you. Like I remember when I first started doing Gakka, I was, especially like when I first started like performing and all that kind of stuff, I was like really nervous all the time. Like I didn't know what to expect, right? And I'd always just like do my monthly, like ask like Guruji, like, hey, can you like help me like you know, find like the confidence and find like the courage I need, you know, to be able to do this. And like I would always like feel better. I'd always like feel better. I always feel like more confident. I remember the first time like I was like performing and stuff. I was like super nervous. Like I had like this one main thing that I had to do. Like I remember I was doing Pantra, right? And so before I went up, I was like, Guruji, like can you please just like help me through this? And I did like Mumantar. I did you know,
Do Simran.
yeah, I did Simran. And I felt like really connected, and I felt like he was like there with me, like helping me through.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if you're talking about this moment in particularly, but at our Gurdwara, there's like people travel from all the way like in the US or like in California, and like we would do like a competition. And I remember, I forgot what I was doing. I think I was doing Pantra with you, right?
Mhm.
So I was doing something, and then I was like crying because like I was really nervous and stuff, everything. And then like my mom would tell me like it's okay, it's only sangat, and I was like still nervous. And there's like this one person I met like when I first started to like go to the Gurdwara. He's like the first, like my first friend I ever made. And he's like an older brother to me, so he would just like tell me that it's okay, and like how I did such a great job, and like everything was like okay and everything like that. And like that's why I love going to the Gurdwara, because if like even if you don't, it's even if it's not like you're doing up there or nothing, if you just go to the Gurdwara, like your day would be like a lot, like so much better. Even if you're like nervous to, like sometimes my sister's nervous to do something, but then like when she's actually at the Gurdwara, she's like feels a lot better. And like if I'm nervous to do Gakpa, once I'm actually with the Sangat and I'm with my teachers and I'm at the Gurdwara, I feel like so much better.
Yeah, I'm so glad you guys have access to the Sangat and the Gurdwara, because it's just so amazing to be able to go there and get darshan of Guruji and darshan of people who have a high soul. And I love hearing kids say they love to go to the Gurdwara. I love hearing that versus like I don't want to go, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, but I hope you guys really inspire people your age, because I mean, I even hearing you talk about like, oh, I just talked to Guruji and then ask him to show me, like having a personal relationship with Guruji, like with Vaheguru and everything, and talking about that, like the mysticism that's involved in Sikhi, like some people don't realize that's part of Sikhi.
And
And even when you will comment on it, they're like, oh, you're crazy.
Well, and I think people get so caught up in the rahat, and not even just rahat, but like what people perceive as rules and regulations within Sikhi, and they stop remembering that the entire point is to connect to Guru Sahib. The entire point is to have that connection and to know, oh God, we are one, we are part of the Creator, all of us. And people get so disillusioned with rules and regulations, and we all do, we're human. But I think it's really important for all of us just to remember the reason that we're here is to connect to the Creator. And if we can refocus on that, there'll be a lot more feelings of acceptance and understanding of everyone.
That's another thing I love about Sikhi. Like you're here to like try to connect with Vaheguru and all, like here in this life, like you're making a connection with him now, and not like working hard like your life to connect to him like once you die. Like
Yes. And
That you can meet God now.
Here and now.
yeah. And I also feel like you were saying, like how I said, I could just talk to Guruji. Like if I feel like I can't tell my mom some things, like I feel like I never feel like that. But like if I ever feel I can't tell my mom, or I can't tell my brother, I can't tell my sister, I could just like go in my room or go in a quiet place and just like ask Guruji what I should do, or like tell him what I'm feeling, or like tell Guruji what I'm feeling and everything. And like then if I, like let's say I have, I don't know, whatever, like something I feel like I can't tell my mom or something, I could just ask him like, should I tell my mom? Like will she be upset? Like she never really gets upset about anything either way, but like would she be upset, or should I feel scared about this? Then I feel like he could be like a friend to me, you know.
Yeah, like in Gurbani says, Mata Pitta, he's our mother, he's our father, he's our friend, he's our beloved. So, he is everything in everything.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, so let's wrap it up, and
Yeah.
I will invite you guys back for part 2. Maybe we'll get Tegvir on, and I'm sure a lot more people would like to ask you guys about your life and your experience, and just hear the views of young Sikhs in our country. So
And
I
we're
really
very
thank you for coming on. Go ahead.
you. As I was saying, we're just very open. Like, please, I tell people that approach me in person, they say they apologize in advance for wanting to ask me a question, and I say I'd much rather have you ask me and educate yourself and inform yourself than walk around with ignorant ideas in your head.
Like,
So please just ask any question. If we don't feel comfortable or we don't know the answer, we'll say that. But I much rather people ask whatever they want to ask, and don't be embarrassed or shy. Just ask us and we'll say.
Sometimes this, like, there's a kid, he tells me, oh, like, why do you tie that? Or like sometimes I tell kids, like, oh, it's not a that, this is called a turban or the star, and I wear it because my Guruji told me to, and it's a crown, and it's to show people who I am. And like sometimes I get really offended because even if I tell them 1,000 times, they still like say my like turban is a that or it, or like, oh, what is that or something. And it, like, I get offended. I don't get offended the first time because like they don't know like what my turban is, so they just say it without knowing. But if you tell them and they still call it a it or a that, that's like it's offending. But I really appreciate people that actually like try to like understand. Like sometimes they might not pronounce it correctly, but like you like correct them. You shouldn't get offended the first time they like.
Yeah, I think we should just be really gentle and forgiving with ourselves and others, and I just try to believe that everyone's doing their best and that I'm doing my best. So
I was asked if I tell fortunes.
Wait, what? Child, I was asked if I could tell fortunes.
Oh, like a genie or like a
What did you say? You said something to someone about that before.
crystal ball lady.
Like, we tease each other amongst each other, we tease each other. But yes, that, I think we've heard that before. And like, you can just come up with something clever to say back.
Yeah.
You could say
like I remember when we moved like to Tennessee for a short period of time, there was this kid and he asked if I knew how to speak Muslim and if I could say his name in Muslim.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was like, actually, yes, I can. Absolutely. I'm very fluent in Muslim and Christianity. I know how to speak both of them. Very fluent. And
So
yeah, it's
my friend, she's 8, right? She's 8, right? So sometimes she like says stuff like my nanny speaks Indian and stuff like that. And she says like whenever she's gonna go to the Gurdwara, she's like
she says, I'm going to go to the Babaji.
Yeah, she said, I'm going to go to the Babaji, or I'm going to go to India. Sometimes she says that on accident, like, oh, I'm going to go to India. And, like, she says that she speaks, like, Punjab. She says she speaks Punjab or India. She's like, I speak India. And and then I have to correct her, like, oh, it's like you speak Indian or you speak,
No,
like,
you
Punjabi.
speak Punjabi.
Yeah. And then like
or Hindi or whatever they speak, Marathi or Gujarati.
My other friend, she's not Punjabi. She's Mexican. She said, I'm gonna go to Indian. So like,
well, it's different though when kids say stuff. When kids say stuff, it's cute and innocent.
Yeah.
When a full girl, like if an adult asks you if you can tell their fortune, you just have to come up with something clever to say. I mean, that's the best route. Have fun with it. Like, don't get offended. You can just say like, yes, I see much ignorance in your future, or you could say some. Just have fun. I mean, we're all people. Like, don't get offended. I
mean, if they're being dead serious, I would try to tell them something like really amazing and positive, and they would just like they would probably like walk away and be like, "This is the best day."
So deep.
One time there was this person who asked like if I could tell fortunes. So I'm like, give me your hand. And so I got the hand, right? And I was like feeling the palm, and I was like, yeah, no, nothing. I don't see anything. Sorry.
Yeah, so just
Okay.
being, have the response. But it was such a pleasure being on the show, and I feel so blessed to be able to talk to anyone and everyone. And like I said, if there's more questions, reach out. We'll put our contacts and stuff. Benji can put them, or Stu can put them on the description.
And you can follow us on Sikh Cast on Facebook and YouTube, and we go on the shows after and always review comments and try to answer them, if someone leaves a comment. So if you want to leave a comment for her, you want to go on and, check them out. But yeah, let's do a part 2 and we'll work that out. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. And Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hand on my pen, you make me flow better. So many judges here, y'all know better. It must be in the cold river, as you're the soul giver. No warning and no letter. When Dharam Raj comes, he's the soul getter. Turn them back on my guru, no never. Keep the mind low, blessed with this role. This is your play. You brought kings to the floor, grey slaves with crowns. This is your way. In my darkest, lowest moments, you were the light above. Forever your name I do sing, the definition of a true king. Family and friends come and go. Now I'm quiet when they claim to know. Bars are like dynamite, flows bomb, so I plan to blow. I just follow your footprints, anywhere is where I plan to go. My beloved, I wanna see your form in everything, anywhere. But some days it's a struggle, love within, I wonder if there's any there. Born in trouble, every day another Barney when I walk the rubble. They don't recognize the soul in me, only seeing double. Take a walk with Guru Nanak. Never felt love like Guru Nanak. Never felt judged with Guru Nanak. Everything is one, nothing above Guru Nanak. Take a walk with Guru Nanak. Never felt love like Guru Nanak. Never felt judged with Guru Nanak. Everything is one, nothing above Guru Nanak. Take a walk with Guru Nanak. Never felt love like Guru Nanak. Never felt judged with Guru Nanak. Everything is one, nothing above.